Meeting of the Sherman County Board of Commissioners comes to order, please.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda for today.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, approve the agenda for the day. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from our last meeting on 1/31.
I'll make a second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the 14th meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion's passed.
February 10th meeting.
10th,
Tenth.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Blew up under pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two of them, you need to sign on the top.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills. What's the amount there?
6,000 on that one.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded, we paid the bills of $595,196.84, and how much is that one?
$6,089.60.
And we need another motion, Ashley, to do the one we missed last time.
No,
No, that's
No,
that, that's the
that one.
6,000.
Okay. I'll make second.
Been moved and seconded, we paid the bills, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, sign. Motion's passed. Okay, bills, here, minutes.
That's the top of the stack too.
Yeah, I got to finish mine, so I'll work on that. This is a card from the Topside Manor. Extend our sincere thanks to dismissing the remaining balance of the van. So, all the lots of different people signed it. So, nursing director and had several people call and say thank you. So. Plains Mental Health. This is the December minutes from the December meeting and showing the attendance records of different people. Our representative doing 100% attendance, so. Okay. This is a contract with UniFirst for the landfill. Uniforms, cleaning. Just a customer service agreement between Sherman County and the land and the UniFirst. So, don't see where I would assume, is this a annual contract?
yes,
Okay,
We don't need a motion or anything on
got
that.
it.
yeah.
We do.
Yep.
Is there a price increase or anything that's changed?
Just like a marginal cost of,
Yeah.
other than that, no.
Well, I'll make a motion, we accept the UniFirst contract agreement for uniforms.
I'll second.
Been moved and second, we pay the First contract, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. We have resolution 25-6, Sherman County authorizing participants in the Rural Opportunity Zone Student Loan Repayment Program. That this is I'm taking this an annual contract with commissioners to, Rural Opportunity Zone.
This used to be a program that the county would kick in money for. Now this just authorizes other employers to participate and pay part of the debts for people if they wanna hire them. So it's just authorizing the ROS program in the county, and the county is not kicking in money for it anymore.
Okay. Minimum student balance of 15,000. So a term of 5 years.
Do we need a motion on that one
Yes.
too, to
Yeah,
continue that?
resolution 25-6, so
I make a motion, we approve resolution 25-6.
A second.
been moved and seconded. Do we approve resolution 25-6? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. Is this from the district court, is this the,
That's the amended tax sale petition. We've gotten all the title work back, so the additional interested parties have been added.
okay,
So I need your signature on that to file that so we can get the additional parties served.
okay.
And what's that one called then?
This is just the district court
It's the amended tax sale.
amended tax.
So I make a motion, we approve the amended tax sale.
A second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. After they get served, Brett, then we'll be notified when the actual sale is.
Yeah, more than likely after, because we're gonna have some, it's normal, some that come back as unclaimed, et cetera. We'll do the publication notice, and we've gotta wait 41 days after the first publication, so realistically, probably looking September.
Okay, okay. So, and we have one tax roll correction. This was, the boat was sold. It's, 014 is the number of it, and this is, we just have to approve that the boat has been sold.
Is that amended tax form? What's the number of that? I make motion to,
It's the tax roll correction.
I make a motion to approve the tax roll correction.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion is passed. Okay, that's all those are signed, so, okay. Miss Chrissy, I think we're ready for it.
Okay, first of all, Steve had asked me to get together a list of all the expenses for the backup pipe. I think this is all of them. You'll notice the one in the yellowish orange shows pending. That's an item that I have as a proposed item to spend carryover funds on. So that should be covered by that as well. To my knowledge, this should be the extent of what we spend out there, other than consumables like paper and small items. A few of them I estimated because I couldn't find, but they're pretty close.
Okay.
So I did list a few items at the bottom that I was able to come across for no cost, or the police department let us use one of the tables. So,
Okay.
but I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. We had a little snag with the the voice recorder. It's not installed yet, but should be within the next few weeks, month. I mean, short time anyway. Sometimes one type of technology doesn't like to talk to the other, and we find that out a little later throughout the project. So just have to wait a bit longer on that.
Of some of the stuff, did Sherman County pay for all of this, or did,
Yes. Other than the item at the bottom, the police department did leave a fairly nice older metal table out there for us to use.
okay,
So I didn't have to purchase any desks. They're not nearly as nice as what we have in our main center, but there's no way to compare to that. So we're just gonna make do with what we have on that.
do we have any type of contract or commitment with the city where they own the building,
Yes,
of course, and like the facility you're at?
correct. Yeah, there's an interlocal agreement for our main location, which has been reviewed and looked at a few times. Actually getting ready to revamp our communication board. It's been kind of dormant since COVID. And what that consists of, I'm actually required to have a communication board, which consists of the law enforcement department heads. I include the fire chief, emergency manager, and then we usually do a community member at large. So
Okay.
we're meeting on the 5th to get going on that. I'm really excited to do that because I like having their input on how things are going and brainstorming ideas. So during that time, I'm going to give them each a copy of the current agreements, have everybody look them over, make sure that's good. But yes, we do have. And then I'm bad with dates, but it's been a minute or two. We did sign an agreement for the backup site as well.
Okay.
That might need to be looked at one more time because the Wallace County handshake agreement that we have as far as the voice recorder being paid for by them in exchange for the rare occasion they would need to use the site. So there's just some logistics as far as security and things like that with KBI and stuff that we need to make sure are in there. So
Okay, well, thank you for this.
Our communication with all entities now in place. Even with the sheriff's department and everything, all the
Yes.
radios now are good.
everything's good. I
Okay.
feel like I could approach anybody with anything. And that feels really good because a lot of my counterparts across the state aren't that lucky.
Well, I know we spent a lot on radios, and I just want to make sure that they're now up and running and our communication is good.
Yeah, and part of that, and I'm sure they explained that to you, was we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
FCC, FBI thing that they decided. Which, if you think of it this way, if you're stopped on a traffic stop, and not only is your driver's license information out there, which isn't that valuable to people who have ill intent, but at times we have to confirm who someone is by sharing their social security number,
Sure.
their date of birth. I mean, that's common things that have to go through the radio channels. I don't want my stuff out there because there's scanner apps. You can listen to radio communications right now. Be sitting there gathering data if you really wanted to, and I'm sure there's AI stuff, that could do that too. So the encryption, it's kind of like in the old days when, you got the scrambler for your satellite dish or whatever. Almost too young for that, but I do remember that happening. It just kind of inhibits people being able to steal your data. So I see the intent behind it. I know it's been expensive, but
But we're all on the 800 system now to where
correct.
we can't, can we get into Colorado some yet, or is it?
Yes.
We're-
Yes, Vance, our radio technician, very knowledgeable about everything radios, and he shared with us, and there was a meeting too with Colorado partners as well, and in Kit Carson County, there is a repeater that's a mutual aid. So anywhere across the country, if you change this channel, you can use it. It's not one specific department's channel. And so everyone put their heads together and we figured out that we could add that Kit Carson channel onto our radio console, and then the field responders can as well. And so we just reach over and talk to them. So I'm under the understanding the sheriff's office will have that as well. So I think we've tested it almost clear to Edson, even though it sits in Kit Carson County. So if Kit Carson starts chasing someone this way, for example, everyone could switch to that. I'm not sure about Highway Patrol. I can't answer that, but we could patch them. So yes, we do.
Chrissy, the sheriff's office still needs updated to the encryption radios, so is that correct?
I think Chad has those on order by talking with Vance. So fairly soon they should be coming on board with that as well. I know the police department was kind enough to share one radio with the sheriff, so that at least that way he's got an awareness of what's going on.
Right.
But commonly what we do is if there's something going on, then everyone will switch to a channel that everyone has. And that's something that we do all the time. We'll just, if we got one that's over here that just came on duty to come help, we'll say you need to switch to this channel because that's where everybody's at because they can talk. So yeah, fairly soon everyone will be together.
Great.
I think the fire department's the only one that is not going to encryption because they don't have a reason to. They don't discuss things that are private.
Right.
Whereas EMS does and so does law enforcement. So yeah, I don't know that we've ever been setting this well. But once the sheriff's office gets changed over, in my time here, so I'm pretty excited about it. I like the idea of I can go to a conference in Wichita and have my radio with me, and if something kicks off and I'm alerted to it, I can turn my radio on, and I'm right there talking with everybody else, if I need to. That's the beauty of the 800 system also.
That's because that was always the funny thing. You can talk from Goodland to Kansas City, but you can go across the line.
Yeah,
And now we're able to utilize that also.
yeah.
That's great.
It's kind of band-aided together. I mean, it works. It's better than nothing. Because in the past, if you're the deputy in Kit Carson and I'm the dispatcher over there, you tell me on the radio, I call you the dispatcher in Sherman County and you radio it to your guy in Sherman County. So you can imagine that that was not safe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we're getting
Okay.
there. The idea of having a place to go if our center is compromised is huge. Not a lot of centers have that. So.
And is it my understanding correct that Wallace County is gonna use that too?
If on the rare occasion that something would compromise their center, which they're pretty resilient folks.
Yeah.
In the past, they've gone down because of a generator failing, and that time that plane hit that line and took out power to every place. Well, their battery backups only lasted so long, so their 911 calls route to us, which we have prearranged, and so they called up here on their cell phones and said, "Hey, we're down," and I said, "Oh, okay. Happy to take your calls. What am I going to do with the calls once I have them? Because radios were down, phones were down." It's a pretty bad situation to be in. So we
Yeah.
came up with a plan, and that was for Sherman County Dispatch to contact their EMS director and say, "You have a call, and here's where it's at." That EMS director would then head to the station and on the way call their other two people, and they would go handle the call. Kind of scary to think about, but sometimes you get down to just paper and pencil.
Yeah.
And so
Basics again.
yeah, you can't forget how to do the, where do we need help and who goes there and how do I contact that person, so.
Okay.
So if we're done with that portion, then we'll have the next portion, which will be just a request to use my carryover funds from last year. You can see at the very top, the funds remaining was almost 41,000. And my wish list comes up to about 38,600. The first item I would consider probably my highest priority item. Right now, we have a radio console system at our main site and at the backup site. If we're able to purchase this, it's called a license key or a HASP. What it is truly is just a USB drive, a little fancier than that, but it's the brains of the radio system. Right now, we can still operate both sites, but we would have to physically get behind a computer and pull the hasp out of the back at the main site, and then take it out there and wait for everything to spin up, and then be able to use it. The other site would stay live for, I believe he said, 10 days without the hasp in the back. So we could run both sites for about 10 days off of one. But the idea of something happened, we need to get to the backup site and get going, and expecting that midnight shift person to remember to grab that, it's a little unnerving to me. And where I have leftover funds, Vance was able to come up with a very reasonably priced one, because normally they're around 20,000 new.
Okay.
And so he found a set of them for much less because they're used. So that's my number one item. And then we are due for a replacement on our CAD server, which is our computer aided dispatch. That's something that we'll have to have regardless. And so that's the 19942. And then we just need some spare radio batteries, a few other incidentals. The NCIC traffic interface, that's something that I would put as at a medium level. The way we currently do things is they run a traffic stop. We have to switch to this computer. First of all, put the location in on the CAD computer of where they are, and then switch over really fast, get our mouse in the right spot, put the tag number in, run it, copy paste all of that back into our CAD system, and then they turn right around and run a driver's license, and we're doing the same activity back and forth, and we're just hoping 911 doesn't ring during that time. This proposal is for an interface that allows us to sit at one screen, type, enter, it does all of that for us and saves it. So it would improve our efficiency quite a bit. And again, it's a medium level request, but where I do have the funding left, it and then the annual maintenance is listed right below that. Highway Patrol currently uses that interface with huge success. That's why they're able to run things so quickly. It intimidates my new people when they're listening to the scanner and they're like, there is no way I could ever run traffic that fast. Well, it's because they have this interface. I'm always trying to make things more efficient for us. Again, sometimes with one person sitting there, it gets a little hairy or somebody's got to wait.
On this CAD server replacement,
Yes.
is that something that we have to bid out, or did you already bid that out?
Very close. If that's what you're asking.
Okay. And Eric, does that have to be a certain program in order to fit into our system?
Like certain specs.
Yeah, have certain specs to it or anything like that?
It comes down to how quickly you want it to work. It just needs to be a Windows-based server. This actual server runs 3 virtual servers. So it needs to have enough horsepower to be able to run all 3.
Okay.
And we replace that every,
5 years is about max.
yeah, because I believe I put it, when I come see you for our next budget meeting, like, whatever it's called, capital planning. I've got that on the 2030 plans.
Well, I would make a motion that we go ahead and purchase these things, since it's already in the budget and it's carried over. We have the money for that.
Well, I saw the note from Ashley about checking with the auditors first.
Yeah.
Is that something we need to be careful of on
I just wanna
this?
make sure that we have enough budget authority. So if you would just approve it, pending approval from the auditors, that we have enough budget authority. We should, and it shouldn't be a problem at all, but.
One discussion item I guess I have, and, would the invoices need to be dated today? Or, because I apologize for it coming, time
Well,
flies,
can
you know?
can we spread it out so it doesn't affect our early part of the year budget?
We can still use 13th month is what they call it, through
Okay,
the end of March. So if we could
Oh,
get all
end of
these-
March, I
Mhm.
apologize. I thought you said 1st of March,
By
okay.
the end of March. So
Okay.
if we can get all these done by then, it'll hit those reports for 2024. If not, then we have to carry it forward and it gets attracted again,
Right.
so.
I'll second the motion that we
Okay.
allow the purchase.
Been moved and seconded, we approve the purchases of the remaining funds and
Leave her one.
911 budget. All in favor, say aye.
Do we need to add in there with the approval of the auditor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Add that into that motion,
Okay.
okay?
Been moved and seconded. And we also add the approval of the audit. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion is passed. You're up, Mr. Chairman. Eric, can you scroll that? I didn't. Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I have 3 things to talk to you guys. Hopefully it's not gonna be, I know I just have on here ambulance fuel tank, but there's 2 other things that I'd like to talk to you guys real quick about.
You're on the agenda, so.
All right.
There
So,
you go.
Your time.
so the first thing we'll talk about is the fuel tanks for the transits. I brought Captain Ross here. This is kind of his project that he has done research on and looked everything over and done his research to help make our service more efficient. So kind of a backstory is that our ambulances, our transits are our main buses that we take for transfers from whatever hospital requests us to go to wherever. So typically a transfer from Goodland to St. Anthony's, which is over there on the west side of Denver, it takes a lot of fuel. So a lot of times we have to stop at Bennett before we can even get to St. Anthony's. If we don't stop at Bennett with the patient on board, if we don't stop at Bennett, we're not going to make it. We'll be making it there on fumes and risking running out of gas with the patient in the back of the ambulance. So, so it slows down our transport times. So this is going to increase our fuel, so we can get from here to Denver or to St. Anthony's without any problems. So with that, I'll turn it over to Captain Ross. So,
Like Chief James was saying, one of our most popular transfers from here to St. Anthony's in Lakewood. It's 206 miles from here. With our transits have been much more fuel efficient than our larger type ambulances in the past. We're averaging about 13 miles per gallon, but with our lovely Kansas weather and wind, the worst that I've seen recorded was 8 miles to the gallon, which has a significant impact in the range that we're capable of doing. With our standard fuel tank right now, it's 25 gallons. We only have a range of about 200 miles. Like I said, that was calculated at 8 miles to the gallon with the wind and running emergent, things like that. So I brought to Chief James this larger fuel tank that is a bolt-in, no change to the ambulance necessary kit, which is 45 gallons. So I only printed off one for you guys to look at. I calculated this off of a worst case scenario at 6 miles to the gallon with the 45 gallons, which would give us 270 miles, which means we can make it from basically any of our pickup locations to any of our drop-off locations with plenty to spare. Our ambulances have done a great job, like I said, at 13 miles a gallon, averaging on a day-to-day basis, which would give us 585 miles range. So we could almost deliver,
Round trip.
transport, and return without having to stop for fuel. This has been a common problem across the board for all crews of running out of fuel. It's happened, and it's happened with patients, and I'd like to prevent it in the future. This is the kit that we're looking at. It's just shy of $2,300, plus an additional $520 for the mounting kit per ambulance specific.
And you would need 2 of them?
We need
Three?
3 of them.
Three.
1, Med 2, and Med 3. Those are 3 transit buses that we have.
And this would be installed locally?
Mhm.
County shop
The county
can
shop
do
will
this?
do it.
Yeah, because it's an aftermarket, so you can't take it to Ford.
Right,
So it'd be on us to get it installed.
right.
Yep.
If you talk to Mr. Roder at the shop, he,
We have not. I'm assuming that this shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, the way that they're advertising it, it looks like a pretty
It's a bolt-in
Simple-
yeah,
specific
it
fit.
drop,
You drop the old
Mhm.
drop in brackets.
so.
Imagine they've done their research, the company has, and configured it just so that it's a little bit
Because I
longer.
believe, correct me if I'm wrong, basically pull the fuel pump and fuel sending unit out of the old tank, put it right in the new tank,
Mhm.
bolt in the new tank.
And it doesn't change the ground clearance or anything like that of the unit.
And you have plenty in your budget?
Yeah,
For
we
this.
have $35,000 in equipment. So this is gonna cost us $8,000. I highlighted it there.
$8,440
So,
dollars, so.
yeah, so equipment, we have $35,000. So,
Well, I think anytime that you're talking about patient safety and crews getting,
Well, even crew, even time, you know.
well, yeah.
It's a
well,
lot of benefits from this. I don't have a problem with it.
Because a lot of times, if you stopped and filled up and went in on into Denver, and then by the time you started coming back, you know, if the weather, and it's been known that, you know, they're halfway back and get another call that they need another transfer. Well, this would make that more efficient.
Also, if you look at another pro to it is if we can do a full round trip without fueling up, we're getting gas back here and good locally, so.
Mhm.
Makes sense to me. I'll make a motion to allow them to buy 3 new gas tanks and then have them installed here.
For $8,447.10. I'll second the motion.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion is passed.
Evan, will you tell me that amount again?
$8,447, and what's the change?
10 cents.
10 cents.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing
Thank you,
that.
Mr.
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah.
the second thing we had was, so the AC unit that we had installed in the ambulance bay, I'm a little frustrated about this. I thought, I guess it was miscommunication, either on their part or our part, I don't know which, but here we are. The electrical to go to the AC unit in the ambulance bay was not included in that initial quote. I thought it was low voltage, but it's actually high voltage, so that was miscommunication on my part, so I'll take that. Anyways, so we had to get another quote, and this would get permission from you guys to come out of the Wollock / county courthouse fund. But the amount from Jacob Lease to do that was $2,832.32 to install electrical to go to that AC unit in the ambulance bay.
For both the unit in the bay and outside, so basically running a 208 and a 240. We do have room in our breaker box for everything.
Okay, so it's just basically running another set of lines
It's gotta
of
go.
the high voltage line.
It's a ways, so, I mean, like, just his materials alone, I mean, he's at,
$1,400.
$1,400 just in the wire alone, so.
Well, we gotta have it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's not,
It's not working without it, so.
No, I'm trying to be transparent.
yeah.
I appreciate that.
For whatever reason, I don't know, communication broke down somehow, some way, I don't know, but anyways.
And when we got the original 2 bids, one from Plains and from Townsend, Townsend was almost $3,000 higher, so now it kind of makes me wonder, we went with the lower bid,
Uh-huh.
but it's probably because
But it
Plains
wasn't-
wasn't including hookup.
Was it
electrical.
detailed on there? Was
On
there any
planes?
electricity on either bid?
See, the Plains or Townsend was same way, it was saying that it was low voltage, so we didn't have to run extra
Oh.
power. That's the way it was explained to me.
Yeah.
And that's how it was explained to me on Plains heating as well too. So, that's why.
So the unit's in, but it's not hooked up.
Correct.
Right.
We're just waiting on this.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I make a motion, we finish the project. For, what's the amount
$2,832.32.
for that amount?
A second.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the bid for the electricity. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed.
The third thing I have is relates to the fire department. So the, our wildland division, if you want to call it that, we have engine 66, which is a Type 3 engine that is capable of deployments across the United States for any type of federal fire that they're requesting aid for. Our current individual that is responsible for our wildland division, Taylor Saffer, he came up with the idea of coming up with basically a seasonal employee. And this employee would be a engine boss, and this individual would be a employee of Sherman County, I'm putting it in quotations, but they do not collect they don't collect benefits from us, nor do they collect a paycheck from us. How they get paid is getting deployed to federal fires. So their job would be to try to promote our engine and get our engine sent out with them being the engine boss on there. And with them being an employee of Sherman County, they're in charge of that truck. So, and again, they're all getting paid by the fire. And in a 2-week deployment, those individuals, they get paid roughly around $9,000 to $10,000 for a 2-week deployment. The engine 66, we could be looking at $26,000 to $30,000, depending on the type of deployment that we're getting for that engine. So that's good revenue coming into the fire department for that engine. So we already took this off to Brett. Brett kind of looked over and said everything looked good. The fire board looked it over and they said it looked good. They just want to ask for you guys for permission to create this seasonal employee position. So again, we're not paying them benefits. We're not paying them wages. What they're getting paid is by a fire that they get paid or they get called out to. So the only reason why we're doing this is because we need an engine boss, full-time engine boss, that can take that engine out and roll with it. And then they are, like I said, employees of Sherman County, which makes it legal for them to take that truck out. So.
Now, would there be a group of people that would be there, or is it gonna just be one person always?
So it'd just be him, and then like we have four guys on our department that are red card certified. So they would possibly 2 to 3 of those guys would get deployed with that individual. So we only send 3-man engine crews anyways, so we don't short staff ourselves here back in Sherman County. So it'd be this individual plus 2 other individuals from Goodland Fire that would go on this truck. So
if there's an accident that happened with this employee, is there any extra liability towards the county?
I think it would be no different than when
One of our normal
when they went down to
employees?
Lubbock, Texas 2 summers ago for
Mhm.
2 weeks. So it'd be no different than that. So because we had 3 of our own
Right.
Sherman County firemen go down to Lubbock for 2 weeks. So it'd be the exact same boat. So
And this could be any employee throughout the state or even out of state, somebody that's got the certification?
right. As long as they met certification as then they were certified as an engine boss. Because that's what we need is an engine boss.
Yeah. The truck
So-
can't go out unless it has an engine boss.
Correct.
And our policy states we want
Sherman County employed
employees on it.
individuals on the truck, right? So main reason why is because if you put non-employee individuals on that truck, which I don't know how legal that is, but point is that those individuals probably don't care much about that apparatus. They're just out there to get a paycheck, and then they tear the crap out of it. They bring it back.
Right.
It's whatever. So where we get guys that are actually on the department, they get a little stake in the game. They got to take care of that truck because they got to use it when they come back here, back to Goodland. So, yeah.
Is there a resolution or a draft that we could look at?
That I don't know.
Is there something?
How do we go
Is there
about-
something drawn up, or do we need to draw something up?
It would just essentially be an employment contract with that individual stating that they're seasonal, their wages, all, while they are a county employee, essentially the only benefit they would have would be our work comp protection.
Yeah. I'm okay with it, because I was on fire board when we started looking at this, so I'm good with it. I just wanna make sure we have our T's crossed and our I's dotted.
Cause didn't we also send an engine to central Kansas one time for,
That was a state deployment. That's when we
Okay.
took Brush 3, which is a Type 6 engine. I went down to Medicine Lodge when that fire was down there.
Okay.
And then we sent the following year, Ashland, they had another fire where we sent, but that was a state
okay,
mutual aid. This is a whole different deal.
okay.
So that wasn't a federal fire, that was a state fire. So this would be like when the guys, if they go, like I said, 2 summers ago, they went down to Lubbock, Texas. Last summer, Taylor Saffer, the guy that's in charge of wildland, he took support and they went to, well, and Matt Minchow, they went to California, Oregon, California line, and they helped do firefighting up there. So, anyways.
So we've got a little bit of history of it already.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And we do have an individual that was on the fire department that had to get off the fire department just because his personal life and job kind of wasn't allowing him to do the 12 months out of the year firefighting requirements. So he is engine boss certified, and so he is interested in coming back and being a seasonal employee. So it's not, because it's not going to be like you have to be at every training, you have to be at every call that we come up with and all that stuff. So his job would specifically just be for wildland deployments. So
I'm good with it.
I am too.
I'll get with Brett and see if we can come up with some type of contract that looks good. And
Do
Yep.
we need to have some type of formal motion stating this? Okay.
This would just allow you to have that extra position on the fire department, basically. Yeah.
Correct.
If Brett's good with it, and you guys are.
perfect. Awesome. That's all I got. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
Just about what you can call right on the
Well, I'll tell
time.
you what, they're just
Yeah.
hitting them right.
Mr. Chad?
We're gonna need a 15-minute executive session with the sheriff and Ashley to discuss security.
Okay.
Make a,
Yeah, and me.
I make a motion, we take a 15-minute executive session with Chad
And Ashley?
and Ashley
And Brett.
And Brett.
and Brett.
A second.
Been moved and seconded. We take 15 minutes. We'll resume at 9 o'clock. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. The meeting will come back to order. These are radios we're talking about, all 800.
Yes, and then
So-
they are with the, I get these confused all the time, they are, and I can call the radio guy if you need me to. They are either AES or IES encrypted. AES, okay.
Yeah,
The AES is what we have to have, and it's a federal mandate
okay.
that they've drug out for quite some time after, and will they come out and find us in Goodland, Kansas? I don't know. I don't want to be the guy that gets made an example of either.
Right.
Well, we always wanna make sure we're at the code and we're doing things right.
Yeah, and
so-
it affects, and then like I said, it affects us being able to communicate with surrounding counties, the police department, everything else right now, so.
Well, instead of having to have one radio, somebody else gave you.
Yeah.
To be able to talk to your local PD.
Yeah.
That would be all.
And these do have the man down feature on these new ones. They're out on the highway fighting or something, they can just push that button, they don't have to worry about hollering, it's on the radio and the mic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lovely orange color that your kids love to push.
So far, I think there's only been, I haven't, knock on wood, hit mine yet, but, but that is a safety feature that, for the officers also.
And this would be an outright purchase?
Yes.
And is there the warranty, like a 1 year, 2 year on those?
I don't,
Are these through Vance?
yeah, well, we're buying them through Motorola, but Vance is the one that's programs them and does everything since he does. And I can call this Motorola guy if you need me
That's
to for
fine.
sure,
That
but
is
it's
fine.
I'm sure it's more than a year, but I don't recall exactly.
I just didn't see that.
And
on
I
the
know
paper.
I wasn't here, but I think they told us when we bought all the radios we currently have, you were on EMS, I think, when that happened. I think they said those were like a 10-year lifespan
Yeah.
normally, and we're like probably closer to 20 years now into them.
Yeah.
So, and they're just not capable of being upgraded. I asked him that, and they don't have the technology to. I have one radio that he said isn't, and it's in a car, it's not done the right way, but he said in the worst case scenario, it'll get you by. So I thought about having him do that for a spare, so if we had a car radio die, we'd have at least have a backup if it's just a few $100, but I don't, I can do that out of budget money.
Gentlemen, I will make a motion that we purchase these Motorola radios at a price of $102,326.16 for the sheriff's department.
I second that motion.
Been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of the Motorola radios. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
How many are we purchasing?
Well,
Or do I need to know?
it's a package deal of
Okay.
9 handhelds going into all squad cars.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, there's
Well,
car
there's car
radios
radios and
and
handhelds for the officers.
okay,
it's to replace the whole
The whole system,
outdated
basically.
system that we have.
sure.
Anything else, sir?
I did give you guys bids also for vehicles. There's some from Dan Brenner Ford. There's also one from Olathe Ford Fleet. I got bids from both of them back. I did talk to Earl Chevrolet. I talked to Danny Archer, who's their government fleet person yesterday. Chevrolet does not make a Pursuit rated pickup, and he was not even sure they made a Tahoe anymore. And I haven't heard anything back from him. I talked to him yesterday, and he was still trying to check, and I didn't get a chance
Haven't
this
heard
morning.
nothing.
So,
These are F-150s.
I did have him price out. I've talked to several sheriffs at the last convention I went to. There's a lot of places that have been trying some F-250s or some 3/4 ton pickups to see what kind of longevity they can get out of them. This F-150 is a Pursuit rated. Ford started making that F-150 four-wheel drive pickup. So I think that's the first sheet on mine. I think it's you guys also. It's kind of a no frills, more of a patrol type vehicle. And all the specs are in there also. But on that one,
This is that F1, 4x4 Super Crew Cab Police,
yes,
135?
that's the
sheet.
police F-150.
My
Um,
question is on that, when you get that, then do you have to go back in and put consoles in that?
Yes,
And
that is I didn't get a hold of, I was gonna try and I just didn't get it done. JR Audio out of Garden City where they bought the last Dodge pickup.
they do the,
He was trying to get into Fords also. He was having an easier time getting a hold of Dodges. I didn't get a bid on a Dodge because I haven't been real happy with them. And it's kind of an inconvenience for us to have to take anything back to Colby every time it needs work done to it, warranty wise. And, you know, we had one over there the other day and they put brakes on it for us. They said they were bad, which I was glad they'd let us know, but I got it back home and the starter's going out of it and they knew it. They just didn't do it because I don't know why. I'm like, why wouldn't, I paid for the brake job. It wasn't under warranty. Why didn't you fix the rest of it? And he didn't have an answer. It's just, you know, and I would like to keep it as much local as we can.
Yeah, I
So,
would too.
but that, they will need to be taken somewhere for upfitting after this. This is just the.
That's
the
just the
vehicle.
purchase of the vehicle, these quotes.
Right.
And what's your thoughts on the 250?
It is a
Would you
little more
like to try
expensive.
one?
I would personally like to try one. Like I said, the Olathe Ford is the last. Brenner's was a little cheaper on the 150. Actually, yeah, he was definitely cheaper on the 150. The 250 prices, Olathe was actually a little bit cheaper, like around $500. No, $1,500. Sorry. I would like to try one. The other aspect of it I was looking at is, and I talked to both Ford and Chevy about this, trade-in value or repurposing afterwards. They thought we would get between $4,000 and $6,000, maybe $7,000 more for the 3/4 ton than the 1/2 ton is trade-in, which makes up the purchase difference. And I thought, you know, county-wise, if another county department needs it and we don't let them get to the unfortunate state that our patrol cars are in now, we can repurpose some of those and maybe reuse them.
But a 250 is not a police package. or
No, it is
anything.
not. They don't make, at one time, Ford made a special service vehicle. It was an SSV. There's a little more heavy-duty alternator and stuff. I did upgrade this one to basically as close to as F-150 as I could get. They're just not
Right,
pursuit rated and won't run as
it's not
fast.
rated, right.
Kind of fill me in on all the vehicles that you do have. My understanding, they're all pretty old and we're gonna have to replace quite a few of them, is that correct?
I currently have, when you leave today, if you look out back, I currently have 3 of them sitting out there that have bad motors in them, 3 pickups. Like to the point where I'm not even sure they're safe to drive around town and to get Walmart or anything in. We had one, and I'm still doing some checking into this, that they used on transports. And the best I can find through, and I've had Ashley help me, is they went 28,000 miles without an oil change. So I'm kind of scared of that one, to be honest. I don't know, you know, and then we have 2, other than the 3 new Dodges that they bought, the 2 Durangos, and the pickup. And I can't recall, I was gonna write it down and I didn't, how many miles are on that one Explorer we had, or have, that was a K9 unit. Everything else is over 130,000 miles. Up to, I think, right at 300 is the highest mileage one we have. Most places for patrol cars try to get rid of them around 100-ish. You know, so I mean, if we could start replacing, and if we could do a couple, maybe 1 year, and then maybe try to do a year and see how that works out. I'd like to get them on a rotation just so we're not in this shape again,
Of those 3 vehicles, they're not doing anything right now. Would it be possible to talk like to the tech college to see if they, would be able to work on a motor? I know if you take it to the tech college, it's gonna be a while because they have students working on them, but the price is very, very reasonable.
Right.
If we wanna look at that or just,
They're all over 150,000 miles, so, what are we gonna run into after that? It was kind of my thought
okay,
with something like that, I really don't wanna buy a bunch of vehicles either, but, I think with these, there comes a time, and I don't know, when do you draw a line and quit putting money into it?
Well, I know in the last year's budget, there was budget in there for a new vehicle.
Okay,
I knew that was part of the budget, if I remember correctly. I think they budgeted like $45,000 for a new one, so that's pretty close to this one.
yeah, cause if I did the math, if you're looking at that, F-250 from Olathe Ford, it is, over 10%, on the other bid, so if we could go out of county. to do
I didn't think it was that much different.
The one was 47 and yours was 54 and,
Okay, yeah, I didn't, yeah, so, it was 57, no, the Olathe Ford one was 52. And the
52.
54 was Brenner's, so it's
Yeah.
$2,000, $1,500 difference.
So that's still close. You stay with
Yeah.
Brenner's on that.
So,
But now, the F-150 Brenner's was cheaper on that one.
yes. Well,
Um,
I think it
How
would,
soon can you get them, Chad?
the F-150, Dan thought would be around July. And he said that the F-250, because they only make those pursuit pickups a certain run, they shut their factory down and change some stuff for that specific pickup. He said the F-150 we should be able to have in May, because, or the 250, I'm sorry, the F-250 would be able to, he said, because it's not that uncommon of a pickup.
You could get it sooner.
Yes,
I would go with putting an order in for the F-250, my opinion. Find out what one's like and then you've got a year before budget time next year to have an idea of how that thing's gonna hold up.
okay. The other ones we do have are getting higher mileage also. I didn't know whether you guys would want to discuss maybe purchasing 2 this year and try to get back on a rotation, or try one of each, or
What do we got? We've got some,
There's 45 in the patrol vehicle. But he's also, doesn't have the expensive like undersheriff right now either, so. We're saving money right there. It just kinda depends on what the future looks like there, but
well, we know we're gonna have to throw the dice and run to figure out what's going on. And it might, maybe if you talk to Mr. Brenner and said, we're gonna put an order in for 2, that there might be a little,
okay.
more of a discount off. And get an F-150 and get an F-250, and then, work on a rotation after that.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to get a rotation going, so we're not to this.
Do you have some other vehicles that are ready to sell that you could?
I've
I
started-
know it's not gonna be much, but.
Right, I've started, I've been talking and working with Rob. Rob's actually, the county shop is starting to do our oil changes and stuff for us and some of the maintenance. They were down for a few days when it was so cold and such and didn't have a whole lot to do. So they started decommissioning some of them that weren't anywhere near.
Right.
So that, they're getting, I've got 2 of them that are clear done. There'll be 4 that I'd like to sell, 3 that have the bad motors in them. And then there's the one that's been sitting down in the impound lots that when Jeff Rediesel was the undersheriff. He was in a pursuit and it got crashed and it's just been sitting down there.
It needs to go.
Yeah, it just needs to be, I mean, it's gonna be sold for parts basically, but it's something we can get rid
A
of. that-
dollar's better than a kick in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, it's not sitting down on our lot anymore either
Right,
after
they might
that.
as well clean it up.
So they've got it stripped down. But I'm trying to streamline some things and get rid of what we don't need. And
So we're pretty comfortable letting you do the 250 and see if we could get a better discount on a second vehicle, and then
Okay,
I think we need them, you know, and I like the idea of getting them on a
yeah,
Get back
plan.
to a regular rotation.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe we do need to get two to start.
Yeah.
How many are you running every day? Like,
when I'll be full staff, there'll be 7 of them running every day.
7? Okay. Do we need a motion on this one?
Yes.
You wanna make a motion on one for right now and guaranteed? And then you come back with a second and.
I don't,
I would just go 2 and, because if you put the order in for 2
That's
right
true.
away,
That's true.
you're going to, you know, say, hey, we're serious about this because
Yeah.
we want to order 2, you know, and I can't see where they're not going to go, hey, if they're ordering 2, we can work a little bit better. You know,
Yes.
I couldn't go in and negotiate very good. I'd have to send my wife, and she's my negotiator, and she does a lot better job. But I think that there should be some.
and I think Dan's treating us very
Yeah.
well
So
on the prices because
54,000 for the 250?
Yeah, 54 and 46, 9, 47,000 for the,
46,950.
yeah. I rounded figures, so.
Yeah, because I actually talked to a surrounding sheriff that bought one of these F-150s a little over a year ago. And the price that we're getting is actually cheaper than what they paid a year ago on it, so
Yeah,
I don't think we're,
Can you run those amounts by me again? I'm sorry.
an F-250
Uh-huh.
is 54,000, well, I lost
I think it was 54 even on that.
It's 54 even.
Okay.
Yes,
And the 150 is 46,950?
yes.
Thank you.
I come up with 100,950. Am I correct?
That's what I would.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 Ford vehicles, a F-150 and an F-250 for $100,950 from Dan Brenner Ford.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded that we purchase these 2 vehicles. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed. Then we'll know that they need to go down, or you're probably gonna go down to Garden City to get them outfitted for the,
Yeah, I'll call them and
Okay.
Get them in ready
Yeah.
so when they come in.
Yeah. One of the other questions I had is, and I wasn't around when this happened, was there a timeline or anything given on the roof repair over there? When the snow was melting the other day, we were catching water in buckets again and we ruined some of the commissary
I
stuff.
think we just need to probably call.
Okay,
and
and it was
see-
through Weathercraft, is that right, with Copliff out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will call and, in fact, I'll just go out there and talk to him.
I think there was a question on adding rock up there. I can't remember what we did with that.
I thought somebody said that they were
They
gonna
were
move the
gonna
rock to
sweep
one
it to
side
one
and
side,
then back.
put it
and then
on,
back.
and then, you know, that would clean the rock to, when they're sweeping it, to get the dirt out of it, and then,
Okay.
what is it, ballast called? That's what
I'm
it's
not
called.
sure what it's called, but
I did have to have, some jail repairs, plumbing done. They came over and fixed part of it. I'm gonna try to get some bids figured out for some showers over there. There's some issues with those that are been neglected way past what needed done.
But we've got the sewer gases taken care of.
We did get and I found out that toilet had been non-functioning from what I was told. I can't say this for a fact, but for over a year, and it took him about an hour to fix it. So it's back working. setting it non-working that long, it did create another issue with the seal underneath, so we're gonna have to fix that now, but, and he's, I thought he was gonna come this week, the parts didn't come in and fix, we have lots of leaks, and he's gonna start rebuilding some of the valves and such to get them back up to where they should be. At some point in time, the showers over there were actually replaced with a residential style shower valve instead of the push buttons that jail should have. So he's gonna try to get those all back up to where they should be also.
Okay,
So did you still need some paint done on the inside, or was that?
We've been
taken care of?
working on that. I've got one of the deputies that I hired to replace somebody that left, actually right before he started, cracked a bone in his foot. So he's in a walking boot right now, so he can't be on the road, so I've been having him and some of the other staff do some painting and just trying to spruce some things up inside. And we've redone one of the cells. It was empty for a few days. So repainted it, repainted the floor in it where all the floor paint was coming off, and we had William come over and upgrade some of the light stuff for us, and we're trying to slowly get some repairs done. I think the door magnets for the jail and the building over there itself, I think he's gonna be here first of the week, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
To have all the
To
keys,
start
have
put-
all the. for
To
key
have all the
fobs.
magnet key fobs put in. You know, and we'll have to look at all that when I get done, because, you know, I don't know exactly how many keys are out to that building. I had a former employee over there tell me that they had a key still that they turned back in after I got in. They hadn't worked there for a while, and they had one still, so that kind of worried me that we don't have any.
This will make the security a
Yes.
lot better. Okay,
We'll
So,
keep at it. I know that building needs that
Yeah.
stuff done to it, so.
you guys all you're welcome to come over anytime. If you'd like to walk through, we'll kind of show you around, kind of what's needed and what's not. But I have found a few things that are missing that I know were there before, and so we're kind of looking into that to see if we can figure out where that stuff went, so.
okay.
So has you got anything else? Will this get you going?
I think that'll get me going, and appreciate you guys' help, and
Willing to work with it. Willing to work with it. So, okay.
Thank you for all you do,
Yep.
man.
Thank you, Chad.
yeah, I'll be over there.
We're gonna call her. Probably 20 minutes.
Huh?
20 minutes.
20 minutes for
20
an
minutes for-
executive session,
Attorney-client.
okay?
Make a motion, we go into executive session for 20 minutes.
I think it might take a little
Do
longer
we
than
need
that, but,
You wanna go longer?
yeah, let's go
How about we
half
just
an hour. Come back in at 10
10
o'clock.
o'clock, till 10 o'clock?
Yes.
35 minutes.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign, motion is passed, executive session.
I know it, I should have took a nap.
The meeting will come back to order, please.
I would like to make a motion that we do not renew ADP's contract as it is written.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved and seconded, we do not renew the ADP contract as written. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign, motion is passed. Is there any other public comment or anything that anybody needs?
If there's nothing else, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Been moved and seconded, we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Meeting's